p.m. past 2 o'clock. Viewers, thank you so much for joining us on this other edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. I'm Mrs. Taris right away. It's already 3 days after a mudslide in Banku brutally took away the lives of over 30 persons, including women, children, and even babies. The locals and other eyewitnesses are still in shock, especially those receiving medical attention in some hospitals around Yaoundé. Our reporters met with some affected family members who lost 7 persons, all from the same family, on the same day. We bring to you some very heartbreaking reactions in this edition of the news. And also, Cameroonians continue to decry high cost of living as this year draws to a close. Prices of goods of basic necessities, especially foodstuff, keep on increasing at a geometrical rate in most markets across the national territory, making it really hard for parents and guardians to feed their families. Those are our major stories. Details and more when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for always according us your time for the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe Television. We told you in the headlines that it already 3 days after a mudslide took away the lives of at least 30 persons brutally in Banku in Yaoundé. Several victims of the Banku incident are currently responding to treatment at some hospitals at emergency centers in Yaoundé. Some of the victims say they are experiencing severe pains. Many express regret of losing people dear to them during the sad incident. We visited the survivors. The Minister of Territorial Administration assured them of government assistance. Let's now have the update of the Banku mudslide with Immaculate Fogwe.
Survivors of the Banku landslide lying helpless on the hospital beds of the Yaoundé Emergency Center. Touring the hospital, Territorial Administration Minister Paula Tanganji consoles the injured victims while promising them free medical aid.
From the indications that we have had and the discussions with the medical team, we are confident that the treatment is being administered properly, and that in a few days most of the wounded victims will leave the hospital.
Amongst the victims is Biatu Japa Eric, who lost 7 members of his family, including friends who were displaced to celebrate his daughter's birthday. A birthday celebration that were turned sour as a result of the tragic incident. I and my wife were not at home when the celebration was taking place at my house. 7 persons died. Out of the 7, 5 corpses have been retrieved. Meanwhile, 2 are still missing. 4 persons got injured and they are currently receiving medical attention here in the hospital. On the incident scene, a bulldozer is seen demolishing houses, leaving civil persons stranded. According to Minister Paula Tanganji, the demolition exercise is meant to prevent another tragic incident from reoccurring.
They will tell you that you want me to leave this place, where am I going to? But the answer is that you ought not to have, you should not have even put the structure. So it's the question of asking the state, where will I go to if I leave the place, will not even occur, because from the beginning, if you had to follow the regulations and the norms of construction, you will not even go and put a structure in places like that.
Meanwhile, survivors are struggling to gather what they can while thinking of where next they will move to with their family members. As of now, many spend their nights in the open air battling with mosquitoes and the very harsh climatic conditions.
Our hearts go out there to the bereaved families, and once again, courage and a quick recovery to all the survivors who are receiving treatment in hospitals. In other news, a 25-year-old man suspected of stealing vehicles in neighborhoods in the Douala 5 subdivision has been arrested after his last operation. He is presently in detention at the Gendarmerie Brigade in Aquano. Mala Glory tells us more.
This vehicle is about to be transformed into a brand new one as the paint is gradually being removed, which will later be sold in the black market by a suspected bandit Bonin Timatio, aged 25 years, is accused of stealing vehicles. Security forces say he often carried out his operation in different neighborhoods of Douala 5 municipality. His arrest comes after multiple complaints from the inhabitants and victims. It's a man who entered my house, stole my car keys and drove the vehicle away. When I got up at 6 a.m., I discovered my vehicle was no longer in its parking space. He was intercepted in the Lokpom neighborhood by elements of the Territorial Brigade of Equinoxe while he was on his way to sell the vehicle in the black market.
Il nous a conduit là où le véhicule était garé au bas-fond, dans un bas-fond.
He took us to where the vehicle was parked.
Nous sommes revenus faire la perquisition dans sa chambre. C'est là où on a récupéré la clé de.
We then carried out some search in his room.
De la Nissan Sony. Dans la chambre, nous avons trouvé des.
That was where we collected some car keys and car documents. Presented to the public, the 25-year-old bandit says he operated both at night and in broad daylight. Security forces say the suspect will be handed over to the state prosecutor at the Wuri High Court for justice to take its course. The commander of the Gendarmerie Brigade of Equinoxe and from the inhabitants, the close collaboration.
Meanwhile, elements of the judicial police have presented a man who attempted killing his brother in Betwa in the east region of the country. The accused was arrested after thorough investigations at his hideout in the Nguso neighborhood in Yaoundé. Smart Jikan Gabriel tells us more.
Electronic items, shoes, perfumes and gold jewelries were some of the items retrieved from 3 suspected armed robbers who broke into the residence of a certain Husseini in Kano neighborhood, Betuatu subdivision. A complaint was dropped in our office by Husseini, who was a victim of an attack at his residence on August 17, 2023.
13h d'un braquage spectaculaire dans son domicile à Kano.
Police investigation stated that it was because they were unable to open the safe belonging to Husseini that the items were taken away. When we entered, we met 3 persons. We surrendered them. As we saw the safe, we brought it to the parlor, but transporting it wasted us time. According to the Commissioner of Police for the East Region, the attack was orchestrated by the younger brother of Husseini. The brain behind the attack was the younger brother of the victim, Amadou, who for unknown reasons recruited the people who came and stole in his brother's house. Reports say that the 3 suspects had disguised like workers of the electricity production and distribution company before they broke into the residence of Husseini, and with the aid of 2 well-loaded automatic pistols, they successfully surrendered the people they met at home and took away the items. The 3 were arrested at their hideout in the Ngusu neighborhood of the Central region before they were brought back to Betwa in the East region.
And we told you in the headlines, viewers, that Cameroonians continue to complain about the high cost of living, especially the cost of goods of basic necessities, especially foodstuffs, in markets across the national territory, making it really hard for them to feed their families. Our reporter Mala Glory was at the Bepanda market here in Douala. She now tells us more.
We are at the Bepanda market in the Douala 5 municipality. Traders here decry the drastic hike in the prices of basic commodities, a situation which affects households in the city of Douala.
Tout est devenu cher sur le marché. On ne sait pas. Te dire on a augmenté le prix du péage. Ça ne va pas là-bas. Le carburant est cher.
Food items such as corn, Irish potatoes, highly cultivated in the west region and the northwest regions, now too costly for consumers as the stock is limited on the market. All sectors are affected, as this exceller says.
Nous sommes passés de 1500 francs
A tray of eggs that used to sell at 1,500 francs before the outbreak of bird flu increased to 2,200 francs during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, it is sold at 2,500 francs, a situation which has affected the cost of living in the city of Douala. Housewives find it difficult to satisfy their families. She says with a sum of 5,000 francs, she is unable to feed a family of 3. The population of Douala, just like in other regions, fear things might get worse as the end-of-year festivities are fast approaching.
In other news, agricultural and agri-food transformation in small and medium-sized enterprises are facing many challenges in Cameroon. They spoke out their challenges during the 2023 networking days in Douala today. The Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Promotion Agency says it is working out some solutions to their plight. Babila Jonathan spoke with some of them. He now compiled this report for the news.
Local agricultural and agri-food transformation is gaining grounds in Cameroon. More and more small and medium-sized agri-food enterprises are transforming almost all foodstuffs.
We process soybeans and soybeans-related products.
What we have before us here is cassava fufu flour, representing our organic palm oil.
Despite the huge potential of this domain and its contribution to the country's economy, development, and emergency drive, the enterprises of the sector are facing many challenges.
Most Cameroonians don't believe in Cameroon-made products. They believe so much in imported products.
We have the problem of financing. We have the high cost of cassava, farm-to-market routes. At times we face difficulties in transporting our raw materials, which is primarily cassava, from the farms to our processing site, which is in Limbe.
The certification of products of the local agri-food enterprises is another uphill task at the national and international levels.
There's bureaucratic challenges, obviously. The requirements are many, but we're trying to break them.
During the opening of the 4th National Networking Days for parties involved in the agricultural and agri-food value chain, we asked the Director General of the Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Promotion Agency what the institution is doing to solve the problem of the producers.
We have a business coach. We have many consultants to help them to improve their competitiveness through packaging, quality, and traceability of their product. Okay, certification, yes. We work with Lanacom, we work with CTA, we work with ANOR.
The National Networking Days is focused on the upgrading of the quality of agri-food products as a springboard for import substitution, as a factor in food safety, and as a source of performance for small and medium-sized enterprises.
Now let's listen to some business persons from the Northwest and Southwest regions who complain that insecurity has been a major setback to agricultural production. Well, let's now get the excerpts of some business persons who are from the Northwest and the Southwest regions. They told our reporter Babila Jonathan that insecurity has been a major setback to agricultural production in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon.
The crisis is really affecting our production because the lockdown and sometimes electricity cut out because of the crisis. Yeah, you see, electricity is out, so makes production really difficult.
Actually, we pride ourselves because to get product like this from the Fungom at this time with the security challenges that we are facing, it's not easy. So we are saying that if the authorities that are big could come to our, could come to encourage us more with what we're doing, because we're actually creating jobs, reducing the unemployment rate in our localities, creating awareness in terms of.
A nutritionist has raised alarm on the growing use of chemical and toxic substances by most farmers and traders in Cameroon today to cultivate farm produce, ripening of fruit and conservation of foodstuff. Gregoire Ambassa Lime says this practice that kills over 250,000 people yearly should quickly be discouraged. Innocent Aze has the details.
Findings have revealed that most markets in Cameroon are flooded with commodities tampered with toxic substances like formalin, pesticides and others to induce quick maturity of some foodstuffs and ripening of fruits. A veritable danger to human health, as nutritionists call for vigilance. According to a nutritionist, Gregoire Ambassa Elim, many people today use these toxic substances to produce and conserve foodstuffs. Most often, they look very attractive but are harmful to the health. He adds the use of these toxic substances is gradually generalizing in Cameroonian markets. It is now being used on everything: fish, chicken, vegetables, fruits, plantains, to name but these. These vendors are killing you slowly. Such a practice has claimed several lives and caused diverse illnesses. It has been revealed that 250,000 people die yearly. This is because the body system has been intoxicated by unwanted formalin, pesticides, and so on. During a conference grouping rural women in the West region, nutritionists emphasized on the dangers of using these toxic substances on foodstuffs and also their consumption. Avoid these toxic substances. Instead, use bicarbonate, vinegar and limes to wash fruits 15 minutes before consumption. It was an opportunity to call on other stakeholders in the health sector and government authorities to take quick action to put an end to this dangerous practice gaining grounds in Cameroonian markets.
Now, in foreign news, we make a stop first in the Republic or the DRC, where President Felix Tshisekedi receives Oligui Nguema, interim president of Gabon, who wishes to increase diplomatic meetings to reintegrate the economic community of Central African states, ECOWAS. And in neighboring Chad, Mohamed Idriss Deby, transitional president, makes a tour of his first year at the head of his country. Let's now have more on our foreign page stories with Cedric Chakutio.
In Chad, transitional president Mohamed Idriss Deby made a tour of his first year at the head of the country's second phase of transition, a mandate which began on October 10, 2022 at the end of an inclusive and sovereign national dialogue, which then renewed it for a period of 24 months. According to him, the first reason of satisfaction is the fact of having managed and maintained peace in the country, while many wanted to make it fall back into violence and abyss. Mohamed Idriss Deby fully assumes his firmness, which he says accompanied with an outstretched hand to those who agree to make the peace of the brave, a policy which paved the way for the Doha peace agreement, part of the Chadian political military movement in August 2022. Over to the Republic Democratic of Congo, President Felix Tshisekedi will receive General Oligui Nguema, interim president of Gabon. As during his previous trip, he will come to please the cause of the transition, insisting on the fact that more than a coup d'etat, his takeover was, according to him, legitimate and inevitable so as to prevent post-election violence. Moreover, Gabon is seeking to normalize its situation and would like to regain its place in the economic community of Central African states, ECOWAS, quickly. It should be recalled, on Tuesday, General Oligui Nguema detailed to the organization mediator Faustin Archange Touadéra the latest developments in the transition, such as the appointment of parliamentarians and the announcement of a national conference next April. And in Rwanda, the Human Rights Watch organization earlier on Tuesday accused the Rwandan authorities of being responsible for murders, beatings and kidnappings of dissidents abroad and called on the international community to fight against this extraordinary expression. Human Rights Watch also points the role played by Rwanda embassy officials or members of the Rwandan community abroad on an international network of diaspora associations linked to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. However, all these accusations have since yesterday evening been brushed aside by Kigali. But Human Rights Watch on their side continue to present a distorted image of Rwanda.
And now we talk sports, viewers. The Indomitable Lions of Cameroon will to know their opponents at the next African Nations Cup after the draw ceremony on Thursday. That will be tomorrow in Ivory Coast, precisely in Abidjan. Before the draw ceremony, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, had published their seedings. Cameroon risks playing against Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, Tunisia, Algeria, or Egypt in their group, as Madikan Gabriel reports.
The capital of Ivory Coast, Abidjan, is already showing a foretaste of their hospitality to visitors who are arriving for the draw ceremony of the 34th edition of the CAF African Nations Cup. It was a busy airport that Equinoxe TV team already in Abidjan met as different delegations of the qualified teams arrived. Before the draw ceremony this Thursday, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, had revealed the seedings for the draw last September 22nd, 2023. CAF says the seedings were done based on the FIFA ranking for the month of September, and all 24 qualified teams were divided into 4 pots. According to the seedings, the Indomitable Lions, who won their first continental title when Ivory Coast hosted the tournament in 1984, was dropped in pot 2 alongside teams like Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, implying that Cameroon won't meet with any of its pot mates at the competition. But Cameroon is sure to clash with any of the teams in pot A, made up of Ivory Coast, Morocco, Senegal, Tunisia, Algeria, and Egypt. Teams in pot 3, South Africa, Cape Verde, Guinea, Zambia, Equatorial Guinea, and Mauritania, as well as teams found in pot 4, Guinea-Bissau, Mozambique, Namibia, Angola, the Gambia, and Tanzania. The 24 teams will be spread across 8 groups, with the best 2 teams each sailing through to the round of 16 of the tournament that will kick off on January 13, 2024. Senegalese superstar and R&B artist Aucun will be the hosts of the event this Thursday.
Thank you, Smart. That sport reports brings us to the end of the first part of the news. Thank you, viewers, for always being there, but don't go away. Talking Point comes up next. Welcome back, viewers. Tonight we are going to be talking health, and our guest tonight is Dr. Hugo Mbachu. He is a pneumologist and the president of the Association of Pneumologists in Cameroon. Doctor, thank you so much for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point tonight. Today we are talking air pollution and its consequences. Now, when we talk about air pollution, what should come to our mind first?
Okay, thank you, madam, for giving me this occasion to talk about air pollution. So we should know that in the ambient air that we breathe, there are many pollutants, and according to WHO, World Health Organization, about 9 people on 10 breathe polluted air in the world. So it's really a problem very, very important for human health. And in the air that we breathe, there are many pollutants, and among them we have dust and some other gases.
And Doc, you made us understand that there are various pollutants, several aspects that cause air pollution. Can you tell us some of the various types of pollutants, aspects which pollute the air?
Different types of pollutants. We have particle matters that are usually contained in dust in the air that we breathe. And I was saying that these particles have different sizes, and some of them are very, very small and can go into the lungs, remain there, cause damage there, and can even pass into the bloodstream and cause damage in the other organs, like heart, like brain, like stomach, like other organs. So apart of this dust particle, we have gases like carbon monoxide, like sulfur dioxide, like oxygen nitrate, and there are so many. They have different effects on human health.
And now, doctor, we know that human beings live on oxygen. If there is no oxygen, a human being ceases to exist, you die. So we breathe air on a daily basis, and you're trying to tell us that the air we breathe sometimes can be very polluted. Can you tell us now, what are some of the consequences of breathing, should I say, polluted air to our lungs or to our health as a whole?
Okay, air pollution has a negative impact on the human health. Firstly, the respiratory apparatus will be impacted by diseases like pneumonia, infection of the lungs. So someone who